Rokenjima is a graveyard of illusion, a secluded island turned stage for death, where love curdles into obsession, where laughter is nothing more than a thin veil for agony, and where every locked room holds another corpse. In this nightmare walks a woman draped in gold, a woman who laughs, taunts, and kills with merciless grace. To some, she is a devil. To others, she is divinity. But no one who faces Beatrice leaves untouched. She is the Golden Witch, and her story is one of sorrow so deep it folds into madness. What does it mean to believe in Beatrice? Is she real, or is she just another shadow conjured by grief? Is she a villain, or the only one brave enough to wear the mask of one? Her existence is a puzzle, wrapped in cruelty and sharpened by tragedy. She spins tales not for amusement, but for survival. Her magic is not joy, it's not hope. It's a last-ditch scream into the void. In the words of Oscar Wilde, the truth is rarely pure and never simple. This doesn't just describe Umineko, it condemns it. There is no simple truth here. Only layered, bleeding fragments of reality and fantasy, crashing together like waves over a shattered soul. To uncover Beatrice's truth, we must sift through deception, delusion, and despair. And in doing so, you may find something worse than the lies. A broken heart. So if you're here for answers, steel yourself. Beatrice's tale isn't meant for comfort. It's meant to hurt. Because Beatrice isn't just the Golden Witch. She is despair incarnate. A curse given form, and the embodiment of truth so unbearable it can only be called divine. In the grand hall of the Ushidamiya mansion, beneath the haunting portrait of Beatrice, hangs a cryptic epitaph. Penned by Kinzo Ushimiya, is both a map to the tens of tons of gold and a ritualistic guide to resurrecting the Golden Witch herself. The epitaph speaks of twilights, each demanding sacrifice, actions steeped in ominous symbolism. The accumulation promises entry to the Golden Land, a realm where all that is lost is restored, and the dead are reborn. Yet the epitaph is not a simple riddle. Decoding its meaning requires not only intellect, but empathy for Kinzo's anguish. The path to the Golden Land is fraught with metaphors of death and rebirth, a reflection of the interplay between reality and illusion. Confronting the epitaph means confronting Beatrice's very essence, and the dark truths that shroud Rokenjima itself. Beatrice's existence is a tapestry woven from legend, fear, and the collective consciousness of those who whisper her name. Initially a mythic figure within the Ushidamiya family's lore, Beatrice's presence haunts the island of Rokenjima, blurring the lines between reality and superstition. The title of Beatrice is not confined to a single individual, but passed from mentor to successor, each bearer a new face for an ancient force. This succession underscores the idea that Beatrice is not merely one person, but an enduring legacy, a haunting idea bound to the island's very fabric. Her furniture, magical entities crafted to serve and enforce her will, are extensions of her power. These servants, from butlers to fearsome guardians, are not just figures in a tale. They are manifestations of Beatrice's control. Alongside them exists her territory, a boundary that delineates her dominion, shaping the world in her image. Beatrice is not merely a character. She is the embodiment of the narrative itself, a mystical force that challenges perception, inviting all who encounter her to question the fragile boundary between myth and reality. At the heart of Umineko lies the tumultuous relationship between Beatrice and Battler, Ushidamiya, her skeptical adversary. Their dynamic forms the central tension of the story, the conflict between the acceptance of the supernatural and the insistence on rational explanation. Beatrice, as the orchestrator of the game board, crafts elaborate murder mysteries, each wrapped in layers of magic and mystery. Battler, steadfast in his refusal to acknowledge the existence of witches, rises to the challenge, trying to dismantle Beatrice's magic with logic and reason. Their battle of wits serves more than a mere contest for dominance. It is a search for truth. Beatrice desires Battler to see beyond the illusion, to grasp the underlying truths veiled by the narrative. As they exchange taunts and challenges, Beatrice delights in Battler's struggles while questioning her own beliefs. Their complex relationship reflects Umineko's deeper themes of truth versus illusion, urging both characters and the audience to confront the very nature of reality itself. Beatrice's magic is not just spells or incantations. It is the magic of stories, of perception, and of belief. In Umineko, magic becomes a metaphor for emotional truth, the illusions we craft to shield ourselves from an unbearable pain. Her witchcraft is narrative itself, blurring the lines between fact and fiction until the audience begins to question what is real. Her arsenal includes the color-coded truths that define the rules of the game. Red truth, an undeniable absolute. Presented without context or evidence, it is powerful, but cruel. Like Beatrice herself, it demands acceptance, without explanation. Blue truth, a skeptical counter-theory, wielded by Battler to challenge Beatrice's claims and dismantle her illusions. Golden truth, not grounded in evidence, but born of belief. It represents a shared understanding, truth accepted by heart rather than the mind. Beatrice wields these truths like a playwright, orchestrating a tragic performance, yet beneath her cruelty lies something tragic, a deep longing to be understood. Beatrice doesn't ask you to believe in witches. She asks you to understand why someone would need to create them. The Golden Land is an ultimate illusion, an eternal paradise where the dead are reborn and suffering ends. But is this truly a promise of peace? Or a final trap for those too broken to face the truth? To Beatrice, the Golden Land is a sanctuary, a place where her furniture can finally become whole, and those who suffered can find solace. The price of this dream is high. It's a seductive lie, a denial of reality wrapped in a golden velvet. For some, the golden land is salvation. For others, it is the final temptation, a lullaby that promises peace while dragging its victims deeper into denial. It is not heaven, but a theater whose trauma is written into fairy tales and corpses are hidden behind the curtains. It offers love, but not justice. It offers solace, but not truth. And yet, in her twisted way, Beatrice believes in this dream, not just for herself, but for all those around her. She offers oblivion because she knows the pain of remembering. But beneath the gold, the story asks a question that echoes through the ages. Is it better to live in a beautiful life or to die in a cold, unforgiving truth? As the episodes unfold, Beatrice's facade begins to unravel, revealing the fragility beneath her cruel exterior. The witch who once danced through the game board with gleeful malice is exposed as someone trapped in her own narrative, unable to escape her self-imposed torment. Her once calculated manipulations begin to feel less like games and more like a desperate cry for recognition. Beatrice, for all her power, is terrified of being misunderstood. She craves recognition, not as a witch, not as a murderer, but as a person. Her cruelty is a defense mechanism, a shield against the crushing loneliness she's carried for so long. As Battler continues to challenge her, refusing to accept her supernatural powers, Beatrice starts to open up. She reveals the depths of her emotional vulnerability. She is no longer the omnipotent witch. She is just a woman, trapped in her own tragic story. In the end, Beatrice's story is not one of mere villainy or magical prowess. It is a story of loss, pain, and the desperate need to be seen. She reflects the human condition, shaped by trauma, driven by the need to be loved and understood. Beatrice was never truly a monster. At her core, she is someone who created illusions to cope with the emotional wounds inflicted upon her. Beatrice's journey is a battle between fantasy and reality, between the Golden Land's false promise and the unbearable truth beneath it. As we peel away her layers, we realize that she was not born of evil, but of a profound need for connection. Her fate, tragic though it may be, is a reminder that beneath cruelty and magic, there is always a person yearning for validation and love. In the end, Beatrice is both the creator and the product of her story. As Elizabeth Gilbert so eloquently put it, to be fully seen by somebody, and be loved anyhow. This is a human offering that can border on miraculous. Beatrice's struggle was never to be feared or defeated. It was to be seen, to be understood, and to be loved. In a world full of lies and illusions, perhaps it is in this recognition that the greatest truth can be found.